Health on 223-9705 or 223-9713.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I am Joshua Van Sleckman and these are the top stories we're tracking this afternoon. Slow and Conway suspended from Police Service Commission. After 17 years of pumping oil, 10th richest African oil producer begging IMF and G20 nations for debt relief. Government takes $5.4 million from contingency fund to buy motorcycle. And murder accused get 18 months for escaping from Lusignan prison. Meanwhile, $1.2 billion contract signed to reconstruct Lusignan prison. Fisherman hospitalized after beaten from brothers, and judge reaffirms judgment against Jagdew in libel suit. And Harman asks PPPC to explain purchase of COVID-19 vaccines from UAE suppliers linked to questionable associates. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much
Welcome back and thank you for joining us right here on Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference. Despite being the 10th largest oil producer in Africa, corruption and unimaginable instance of squandermania had left Chad's economy bursting at the seams with debt. Today, Chad has a landlocked country in the northern Central Africa, has one of the highest levels of hunger in the world. In fact, 66.2% of its population, totaling 15.5 million people, live in severe poverty. Most people lack access to even the most basic amenities, including drinking water, sanitation, medical infrastructure, and decent housing. Hit by COVID-19 pandemic last year, Chad, which has been an oil producer since 2003, is in desperate need of billions of US dollars in debt relief from its international partners. President Irfan Ali has suspended retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Slow and retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Clinton Conway from the Police Service Commission. Confirming this development yesterday was Conway himself and Slow's lawyer, Selwyn Peters. Conway was contacted by Kaieteur after a photo of a suspension letter addressed to him surfaced on social media platforms. In the letter, President Irfan Ali informed Conway that the Prime Minister, retired Brigadier Mark Phillips, had advised him and that the question of his removal from the PAC ought to be investigated. President Ali revealed that Phillips also advised that he, Conway, must be suspended from the function as a member of the PSC to facilitate investigation. The President in a letter went on to inform Conway that he has accepted Phillips' advice and has moved on to establish a tribunal to inquire and report on the matter and recommend whether he should be removed or not. Opposition leader Joseph Harman is asking the PPPC government to explain the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines from a supplier in the UAE that has been linked to associates of questionable character. Harman called on President Ali to explain the purchase of the Sputnik 5 vaccines from Sheikh Al Matouk, a member of the ruling family of the UAE. According to the opposition leader, the Sheikh, who visited Ghana last year, has been linked to several questionable characters in Norway and is wanted in that country as part of investigation into a massive fraud. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. A $1.2 billion contract was yesterday signed by the Ministry of Home Affairs for the reconstruction of the Lusignan prison, which is located on the east coast of Demerara. According to a post on the ministry's Facebook page, signing on behalf of the ministry was Permanent Secretary, and the contract awardees are Mohammed Enterprise, M&P Investment in joint venture with joint venture with Nabi Construction Inc. The signed contract was signed as an estimated cost of $1.2 billion for the reconstruction of a prison Lot 1 to 3, the Guyana Prison Service Region 4. According to the minister, the $1.2 billion will be used to build a prison complex and with 2 dorms are just about completed so they can move the prisoners to a more hygienic place. And sticking with the Home Affairs Ministry, Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben told the National Assembly on Monday last that $5.4 million had to be spent from the contingency fund to buy 12 additional motorcycles for the Guyana Police Force. The reason for the urgent purchase, according to Ben, is vehicles procured to aid in the fighting of crime are yet to arrive. A sum of $300 million was set aside in 2021 budget to acquire land and water transportation for the Guyana Police Force, and this would have facilitated the purchase of the vehicles. The government had argued during the budget debate that with the purchase of the new vehicles and boats, the force will be better equipped to fight crime. This is your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. More news after the break. Stay with us. Here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, the radio with a difference. A 31-year-old fisherman of train line Rosignol Village, West Coast, Berbice, is nursing chop wounds and other injuries about his body following a thrashing he received from his 2 colleagues in the Rosignol fishing complex. Hospitalized at the Fort Wellington Hospital in a stable condition is Vikram Samaru, and presently in police custody are 24-year-old Romario Nazardine, a fisherman, and his brother, 27-year-old Riyad Nazardine, also a fisherman. The incident occurred about 10 hours 20 yesterday. According to the suspect, the victim Samaru had threatened to stab them, and as a result of the threat made, Romario armed himself with a long metal pipe while his brother Riaz Nazardine armed himself with a cane cutter cutlass and attacked Samaru, who was sitting on the boat bow at the Rosignol Fisheries facilities. Prison escapee Colonel Perez, who was recaptured last month after being on the run for almost a year, was on Tuesday sentenced for escaping from the Lusignan prison. The 26-year-old man of Mabaruma Northwest District appeared in the Coven John Magistrate's Court before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor to answer to the charge. He pleaded guilty to the charge, which states that on April 20, 2020, he escaped from lawful custody. Perez was on Tuesday sentenced to 18 months imprisonment for the offense. On the day in question, Perez, along with 3 other inmates, had escaped early in the morning from the prison by jumping one of the fences. Around 18 hours 45 on May 22nd, Perez was captured in a makeshift camp in a village located on the Linden-Suislike Highway. Justice Sandra Curtius has reaffirmed her order to grant an award to former Junior Minister of Communities Annette Ferguson in the case where she sued Vice President Barrett Jagdeo for libel. Delivering her ruling via Zoom yesterday, Justice Sandra upheld the default judgment on the basis that Jagdeo failed to provide any substantial material to support his reason for failing to file a defense to the defamation claims. There must be proper evidence before the court, the judge said. The judge, however, recalled the $20 million judgment and announcement that the hearing will be held on July 28 with the parties to assess the damage to be awarded. In the interim, Jagdeo was ordered to pay $75,000 in court costs for Ferguson. The 3 accused who were committed to stand trial in the High Court for the murder of Lilawati Mohammed of 6th Street, Tain Village, Berbice yesterday, pleaded not guilty to the offense at the Berbice High Court. The trio, Andre James, Oliver Permol, and Rohan Johnson in 2017, was arrested along with 3 others for the murder of Mohammed at her home. The 45-year-old Mohammed at the time of her death was employed as a domestic worker. Mohammed and her 2 teenage children were at home when 3 masked men barged into their home and shot her execution style. Nothing was stolen from the home. It is 12 hours 15 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. We turn our attention to your COVID-19 update. A 54-year-old woman from Region 1 who had tested positive for COVID-19 disease has died. Her death has now brought the country's COVID-19 death toll to 438. Further, 128 new cases were recorded, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 18,658. 21 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, 113 are in institutional isolation, and 1,509 are in home isolation. To date, a total of 16,577 recoveries have been recorded. And just before we wrap things up, it is time for us to turn our attention to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated of being blunt. When will our leaders come to the realization that they are the servants of the people? You are placed there by the people, so your role is to work for the people, not enrich yourself. Leaders who have the people's interests at heart will not gamble away their wealth. Real leaders are prudent in their decision making, since their goal is always to create a better life for all, not just a few. Come on, leaders, be about the business of carving out a better life for all Guyana. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at the newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. Coming up in just a bit, it will be time for a message from the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lal, on the oil and gas sector, after which GHK Lal will join us for the National Outlook. I am Joshua Van Sleckman, and I thank you for joining us.
Subscribing to our YouTube channel, Kaieteur Radio Livestream. Also catch our stream at www.kaieteurnewsonline.com/radio. Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Guinea-Bissau is a tropical country on the West African coast of the Atlantic. They speak Portuguese there. The president